Stop being a bitch.
All right, what's up, Lemon Heads? Welcome to a special edition of Lemon City Live. This is called Vice City FC, where we're going to talk all things soccer, football, whatever you want to call it. You know, USA and England tied, so I guess we still don't have an answer, right?
Yeah.
So,
Wait, which one's worth more, the euro or the dollar right now? That'll decide. I don't know. I gotta check.
I think the dollar is stronger than the euro right now.
There you go. Soccer it is,
pound,
bro.
Yeah. But the pound is still stronger than
that doesn't count.
The dollar. So
doesn't count.
Yeah. Brexit, Edwin, it happened. So we're joining us today, Eric Kerbian. Did I say that right? Kerbian, right? Yes.
You got it.
Awesome. Great.
Eric Kerbian. Caribbean works too from the old football days.
Caribbean. Yeah, there you go. And you are the lead or the main researcher for the Joe Pompliano show, correct?
Yep, that's correct. Along with Huddle Up on Substack and our YouTube channel, just under Joe Pompliano as well. So all across all of our content.
Awesome. If you want to share with people where they can find you on socials, Twitter, Instagram, whatever you want to share, go right ahead.
Or is yours, bro?
Yeah, absolutely. You can just find me, my first name, last name, at Eric Kerbian on Twitter and Instagram. Been tweeting a little more here and there now, being up with Joe. And then, of course, got to plug Huddle Up on Substack. And then go ahead, obviously follow Joe Pompliano on Twitter, YouTube, and subscribe to the Joe Pomp Show as well. You know,
that's what's up. It's a great show. I've been listening to it for a couple of months now. I really enjoy it. You know, I'm an MBA. You know, I have an MBA, so I enjoy the business of sports shows a lot. And so when I found Joe's show, I was really intrigued. And it's a nice break from, you know, the normal shenanigans that we get into over here. So yeah,
he's got an MBA. I like my NBA. I don't know, you know, I didn't finish the school like he did, but
I don't just dunk some fools.
I used to watch the CBA.
Yeah, you know, something like that.
Yeah. So man, we're gonna get a little bit into Inter Miami, the article that was released from in the Joe Pompliano show about David Beckham's rise to become, you know, owner of Inter Miami. We're going to speculate a little bit as far as Leo Messi coming to Inter Miami and what that entails and everything like that. But first, I want everybody to get to know Eric a little bit. Eric, so we already said you're a head researcher for Joe Pompliano and Huddle Up. How'd you get into that?
Yeah, so I worked my whole career before working with Joe. I was in public relations and communications, so working at different like agencies, doing consumer products, you know, mainly food companies, things like that. And but I always raised my hand for sports experience, and I did get that at one of the places I worked, working at on the Mountain Dew account at a former agency I worked at.
Baja Blast? Is Baja Blast the best Mountain Dew or what?
I think I'm a Code Red guy, but Baja Blast, you know, right there too, of course.
I am all in on Coke. No, not Coke. What is it? Mountain Dew Zero. No, Mountain Dew Zero. I'm used to saying Coke Zero. Yo, that Mountain Dew Zero is legit AF, bro. Like I can't. For me, I was surprised. This is the best thing ever. I'm like, I can drink this all day, you know, and I
yeah, well, it tastes a little more like regular Mountain Dew, right?
Yeah, it tastes great.
Like Diet Mountain Dew.
Yeah.
Edwin is probably the biggest Mountain Dew fan I've ever met in my life. For Christmas, I got him Mountain Dew socks. Baja Blast.
Baja Blast.
That's
Baja Blast.
That's my boy. So
he knows me so well.
So I do so well. What about that spiked Mountain Dew? That came out of left field. I thought that was pretty good.
Oh, the hard Mountain Dew, yeah.
Hard Mountain Dew. There you go. Yeah.
I thought I'd go back to being an alcoholic, but it didn't work.
Yeah. It didn't work. So how did you make the jump?
Yeah, absolutely. So like I said, worked in that space for a few years, and I also switched career paths a bit. I went from doing PR, working with the media all day, to then becoming a copywriter at another agency. And just a couple other sports notes too. I actually was a PR intern for the UFC in 2015.
Nice.
Got to work pretty hands-on with their comms team there. It was I'm in my dream job now, but I gotta say that was a dream job too at 21, living in Vegas, and I'm a huge UFC fan, trained in mixed martial arts in high school to stay in shape. So that was a real dream come true, just a kid in college working for them. And then my first internship was with the Chicago Bears at 19, just working in their pro shop during training camp. So yeah, as much as I had different sports stops along the way in my career, I always knew I wanted to end up back in it, some way, shape, or form. And making the jump with Joe, I mean, I was, like you said, Gustavo, just a fan of his for, a couple of years, from when he started. And he put out the bat signal one day in a newsletter, and that was on Monday, and he needed a researcher. And I was really happy at my other job, but, I told my wife, I was like, am I crazy if I, hit him up about this job? And she goes, yeah, I think you are, but, why don't you just do it anyway? I'm like, all right, cool. So he said, email me why you're the best person for the job. And I was like, you know what? I've interacted with him on Twitter. Why don't I just DM him and we'll see what happens? And I was like, hey, is this full-time or part-time? And he's like, oh, it could be either. You want to talk about it? I was like, sure, man. And we talked the next day. That was a Tuesday. 2 days after that, on a Thursday, he made me an offer, and then I haven't looked back since. And, I think what worked out really well for me, jumping in and working with Joe, is just my experience in that media space on the PR side, knowing what a good source is, not knowing what news is fake or not, these days, what's misinformation versus real information, but also being a writer myself, crafting narratives, telling stories, know about that, knowing that as part of my skill set too, I think was a good advantage. And also simply just being a fan of Joe, and just knowing what he was looking for. And he's been amazing to work with, man. Like I said, it's my dream job. It's been 9 months now, and I wake up every day. I'm like, I can't believe I get to freaking do this. Just
that's awesome.
Yeah, that's great.
What's up, bro? Keep living the dream, man.
Yeah, man. So, you mentioned you were an intern at in the UFC, correct?
Yep, correct. I'm the PR team.
You're a big UFC fan. What's you got any insider info for this John Jones fight against Gagne?
I tell you what, as much as I'm excited about it, as a fan, I'm just very disappointed that, Francis and the UFC couldn't come to a deal. Francis Ngannou, that is. That was, I really thought if they could get him versus John Jones booked, that was going to be the biggest fight in UFC history.
Oh, for sure.
And so it stings a little bit, right? As far as insight goes, I don't have too much right now. I'm really curious to see how a 3-year layoff is going to impact John's performance. He's been gaining weight this whole time to go up to heavyweight.
Looks huge.
Looks scary as hell. Let's just be real. He's got that shaved head going. Kind of got a little, classic Tyson look a little bit. And just looks like a brick shit house. It's just, I mean, I'm just so curious to see how he's going to be at heavyweight. And Ciryl Gane, I mean, as much as he lost to Francis, I mean, he can move like a lightweight, even though he's 265 pounds. Man. So,
that's going to be it's going to be a good fight.
Go
That's going to be a good fight. Entertaining. It's going to be fun to see John Jones move up a weight class and see if he can handle himself there. But it's not a UFC show. We're here to talk soccer.
Yeah, I was about to say, man. Right? I was like, look, I'm not the UFC guy. So
we're just getting to know Eric a little bit here. So, did you have experience with soccer before? Because I know you did all the research for, or at least most of the research for this David Beckham article that you guys put out a while ago. What is that something that you had to that you already were familiar with, or did you have to go in and really take a deep dive to learn more about? How did that come about?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. So, my thing with working with Joe, right? What's really been cool about working and doing this job is I become a fan of more sports now than I was before. Because we cover everything on the business side. Like now I like Formula One. Now I follow tennis. I follow golf. And then, soccer, football. I think I'm actually starting to call it football now that I'm, just getting in the weeds all day on the content. But as far as being a fan and just following the sport, honestly, I never really did. We've got the Chicago Fire here at home, in MLS, and I've been to a few of their games years and years ago at Soldier Field, and before they moved to their other park, and now they're back at Soldier Field. But I did know the business of MLS pretty well because leading up to the Beckham video, as you guys probably know, right, there was a lot of news in the league. The Apple deal being a big one. We just had the playoffs, a few months ago in the MLS Cup. So, that was going on. And then David Beckham's just an icon, right? My sister played soccer, and she's about 7 years older than me. And she was a kick-ass goalie in high school.
Yes.
Played really well. Yeah, this was really, really good. That was like that was her sport. And I remember when Bend It Like Beckham came out, right? Like, as a kid watching that movie, and obviously him and Victoria being a power couple, just being in pop culture. Unless you're living under a rock, you should know who they are, right?
Yep.
But did know the business pretty well in preparation for this, but it was a deep dive, kind of going down memory lane. When he joined MLS, I was only in 7th grade when that happened, and I wasn't really a big fan at that time.
Yeah,
so it was, it was going down memory lane to deal with the deep dive, but it was so fascinating, just getting into the details and learning about all this again, and then putting the content out with Joe and on all of our channels.
All right. So, like, what kind of information is available to do that kind of research? Did you have to go and ask for information from, maybe stuff that wasn't made public yet or things like that? Or is that stuff anybody could find?
Everything that you saw in the video was stuff everybody could find. We did put together some calculations like on valuation growth of the franchises and, kind of comparing things, just doing some simple math. People look at me and they're like, oh, research, do you know about analytics? I'm like, I can do division, addition, subtraction, and that's where I go, and a couple other formulas to compute our numbers. But, it's all simple math. But everything was that was in the video, the newsletter, was all stuff that you could find. And where the content was inspired by was actually a thread that Joe did a year or two ago just about the deal. But, we came back to it now. We said, I think we can just do a deeper dive on this and just give more of an informative story to people, and just include some more details and everything. So I will say, the research skills do come in handy when you're going down the depths of the internet in 2007, using the Wayback Machine to find any articles that may have gotten lost. And so that was the toughest part, was just tracking things down and finding the right information for everything. But because it was more revisionist history, kind of looking back on things, everything was all there.
Okay.
I got it. Well,
go ahead. Go.
No, I was just gonna say, like, I know we're talking about this, what your research and everything, like we know it, but maybe some of the people who are watching or listening to this later might not be familiar with it. Maybe if you could just kind of give us a quick little rundown of what it was that you did there for those that don't know. We'll also share a link to it, with the content afterwards, and then I have a follow-up question when it comes to that. But if you want, go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. For me, it was, every research project is different, right? Like every story we tell may be a little different. What was good about this one, it was pretty chronological, which makes things a lot easier for me. So I could start from the beginning and go all the way to today, and had all the different stops along the way in David Beckham's career to follow. So, how I did that was just, honestly, spoiler alert, and maybe some college professors of mine might hate this, but like, I'll start at Wikipedia all day, every day. I'll go there, go to David Beckham's, page, and just kind of get a lay of the land of what I'm looking for. And, but I don't reference Wikipedia as a source, obviously. Of course, there can be junk on there and, everything like that. But if you go down, to the references section, you'll find actually, more times than not, a lot of good source material that, people who dedicate their time writing Wikipedia articles actually refer to. So it's just a matter of, kind of laying out what story we want to tell, making sections for each one, and just filling in the blanks with, all content that's out there. For this one, I relied a lot on, I'm going to give a shout out to Kurt Badenhausen. He's one of the OGs of sports business media. Wrote at Forbes at the time of all the Beckham news and the MLS. He did a whole great series about his career there and the business side of things for Beckham too, before he moved on to Sportico, which is where he works today. So referring to a lot of his materials, Sportico as well, they do MLS team valuations every single season now. So you always have up-to-date information from them. And then, listening to any podcasts, any interviews that he's done, or if anyone's ever covered it in the past, just taking some time, watching a video, listening to a podcast or two, and taking notes from there. So, like I have my doc open right now, right? Just so, I'm not flubbing any numbers for you, but you'll see it's just section after section with link after link of different things and different notes, and just compiling it all together and then taking it from there, writing the script, and then working with our video and audio team and creating a video out of it as well.
Awesome. What was the most surprising thing that you learned that maybe you didn't know going into it?
Oh, that's a really good question. I would say the biggest thing for me is like I knew Beckham, right, mega star, especially in his heyday, still has a great following now. I mean, he was just doing those World Cup commercials with Peyton Manning. The guy still is relevant. But just some of the numbers here, like the impact that he had on teams that he would go to and just how big of a star he was shocking to me. Like, he sold 1 million shirts within his first month at Real Madrid, right?
Wow.
And then the fact that he was responsible, I want to say, for like $600 million in merchandise sales and team revenue just by himself in his 4 seasons there, right? Like, gosh, that's just undeniable. The dude was a star. And even at Real Madrid, I think, he would even say he didn't have the run that he would have wanted while he was there, but he was just still such a mega star. It's like when Jordan went back with the Wizards, right? Like, still drove sales, still was relevant, still was popular, drove ratings. And when you're that big of a brand, like, people are going to follow you no matter what. So just getting some hard numbers of just how popular he really was big. Also, just the amount of money he made in his career total, I think it was $800 million that he ended up making, is just absurd to me. And you see more athletes crossing into earning $1 billion while they're active now, but inflation's a part of that, and I think sports has just grown as an industry. So the fact that he was doing that, from the 90s into the 2000s, is just so impressive, and the hard data that he generated, from his popularity was just huge for me. Like I said, a big thing that I didn't really expect jumping into this.
Yeah, dude, I'm one of those guilty people, man. I was there the first day that they sold those Galaxy jerseys at Dolphin Mall, our local mall over here. I was at what Sports Authority used to be. I don't know what's there now. Is it still Sports Authority? What is it called?
I think the Sports Authority became a Ross, I think.
I don't know, something like that. Well, back in the day, I'm talking about. In 2007, I was there. I remember calling that place. Hey, when do you guys get those Galaxy Beckham jerseys? Oh, they come in on like a Tuesday. I was like, all right. And I was there as they were putting them on the rack, and I was like, okay, got mine. And then I just went out. That's the only time in my life that I've ever done that for any athlete was for that guy. So, yeah, that guy definitely, you're absolutely correct. And he has a.
You still have it?
Yeah, actually, I do. It's beat up as hell, man. Got washed the wrong way a couple of times, so it's all like fit. The numbers and the logo and all that stuff is cracking.
Probably a little tight right now. It's a little tight too.
No. I was. It fit back then. I fluctuated. I'm back to the heavy side, so it fits again.
Hey, I've got a Walter Payton jersey that my godmother got for me when I was, I want to say, 10 years old, and I still fit in it because she got a big one for me. But I've had periods in my life where it's tight and then it's looser.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, all right, I know how good a shape I'm in based on that Walter jersey.
I know that feeling. It's a sad feeling for me, but I know the feeling. I'm like, damn it, because I got a lot of nice ones that don't fit anymore. And I'm like, damn, if I just, maybe stop drinking those Mountain Dews, but that's where that Mountain Dew Zero is going to help out. Hey, but all right. So I want to get into speculation. You've obviously researched all this stuff, and you're very knowledgeable on it. And I know Gus has some questions here. But you're talking to 3 guys from Miami. Javier over here is a personal friend of Gonzalo Higuain, who was a striker for Inter Miami last season. He's the only one that is allowed to call him Xavi because they're on a nickname basis. Okay, so he calls him Xavi. We got to call him Javier. But anyway, that's what we want to know. We want to know this. We're the attractive city. We're Miami. Where all the people want to come to retire, and all the players want to come and settle down and do all these great things. And the biggest fish out there is a certain guy named Lionel Messi. And I want to speculate, man. So I know Gus. What do you what do you want to ask? I know Gus has one of
the earlier reports that I saw was that Messi wanted, as part of his contract, to be able to buy into the team, like a 30% stake, something like that. And obviously, it still hasn't happened. So is that something that they're negotiating? Do you know if that's even a thing? Is that a false report? Have you heard something like that?
No, yeah. I think that's a question a lot of us, between soccer fans, I'm sure you guys being Inter Miami fans, and then just with sports business and just sports media overall, just hanging on this question right now: where the hell is Messi going to go? I always like to say this: where there's smoke, there's fire, right? So he seems to have a lot of suitors coming his way. And what's kind of been frustrating about this is like there's been so many reports where, okay, he signed with Inter Miami, it's going to be announced soon. And then, his team's like, no, it's not happening. Okay. And then, a couple weeks ago, he's going back to PSG for at least one more season. Then that gets retracted. And then another Inter Miami story comes out, and that gets denied. And then now the latest one, and I don't think his team said anything on it, but there's a Saudi Arabian club that's the rival, and I'm forgetting which club it exactly is, but I know there's a direct rival of Ronaldo's squad that he's with now.
Wow.
And the rumor out there is they're going to set to offer him a $350 million per season contract.
Good grief.
Which would just be absurd. It would, Ronaldo would have what, a few months, few days where he was the richest athlete in the world, highest salary ever. Messi would come in, knock that out right away. Would break his own record of $160 million a year when he was at Real Madrid, when they were overspending and putting their team in debt. So right now, there's just a lot of balls in the air, and it's just a matter of which one's going to land. As far as where, I have no real idea where things are going to go, just kind of following the news like, we all are here. But I think he has two, just as of right now, if everything's true, just two very interesting options because, Ronaldo, I'm going to just, out myself here. I actually didn't think he was going to sign with the Saudi Arabian team. I just, I was like, as much as influence and money as it was, I just was like, playing down to very low competition. Just the market value, for marketing potential. I mean, I know they're paying him a lot for that. But I still thought maybe he'd still want to keep his brand a little more global as opposed to going to a very small market comparatively to Europe, comparatively to the US, right? But clearly, money talks. $200 million a season is hard to pass up. So now with that, like my gut's like, well, if 350 is on the table for Messi, that's going to be really, really tough for him to turn down. But the Inter Miami deal, if it really does include this, I believe 35% stake in the team, and I ran some numbers on that. If he gave him that would be worth about $205 million based on Sportico's latest valuation of Inter Miami at $585 million. And what do we know with sports, gentlemen? Sports, even through recessions, even through tough times, always just seems to go way up no matter what. And I think that's where, based on his decision, if that's the real offer that he has there with David Beckham and Inter Miami, it'll be telling to see, all right, does Messi want kind of the quick payday playing in Saudi Arabia for a couple seasons? Like if he plays 3 seasons, he'll make over, probably $1 billion around there, 3 to 4 seasons if he were to play in Saudi Arabia. Or if he comes to Inter Miami, I know the report said he would be the highest paid player in MLS history on top of the equity stake in the team. So it's just a matter of what he's looking for. If he's looking for a long-term play, if he wants to be a player owner for a bit, and then if he's really genuinely interested in, getting in on the business side of things, he'll have that opportunity in Inter Miami. So I think it's just a matter of what he's looking for. And, I think he'll make out just fine either way, but I'm still very curious of, which deal, what ends up being true and then what he ends up ultimately doing.
I got a question though. This deal, I mean, obviously we saw it with Beckham before, and then we saw there was reports saying that Ronaldo was actually very, very close to accepting an offer from Kansas City, from Sporting KC, which is insane, to think that a club in middle America like that, even as good as they are with the history that they have and everything, could have the finances to put up even a competing offer to what that Saudi Arabian team put out there. That's insane. But it shows that there is money. These owners got it. I mean, if you get a guy like this, it's just, you just back up the trucks full of cash over here. That's what's going to happen. But my question is, with the precedent set with this report about the Ronaldo deal and the prior with Beckham, is there any other sport where you've seen a deal like this, where you get an ownership stake at this high of valuation? Because I can't recall in any other sport where anyone would give up any type of ownership equity, and definitely not at a 30-something% or at an expansion rate that Beckham got when he joined the league in 2007. I mean, I haven't seen anything like that in any other league. Maybe you in your research, you came across something like that.
Yeah, no, that's a great question as well. I'll tell you this, I'd have to double check myself just to really make sure I didn't miss any examples, but there's a couple factors at play here. Number one, most CBAs, so collective bargaining agreements in other leagues, don't typically allow player owners anymore, just because of conflicts of interest. Really just being the main motivating factor. Like the one I think about right now is LeBron James has been very open about wanting to be an owner of the possible Las Vegas team that's going to be an expansion franchise in the NBA, right? That can't happen until he's retired. And I think it will. That's, to make a prediction, right? I think Joe and I have talked about this too. I think LeBron will become an NBA owner eventually, but it's going to take time for that. So as far as I know, most CBAs. So
Jackie Moon is safe then. Jackie Moon's ready. He's safe. Okay. All right. Woo. Okay. I feel better. All right. Carry on. Go ahead.
I love the reference too. Such a great movie. But yeah, so most of these CBAs don't allow that. But in history, we did a video about this, just a YouTube short TikTok video. Bobby Orr, who is, a legendary hockey player, played for the Boston Bruins. Well, when he signed with the Chicago Blackhawks, my team here, in the city, he actually got screwed over in his negotiation by his own agent, because his agent did not let him know that the Bruins made an offer to him, which with, I think, an 18% equity stake in the Boston Bruins back in the 70s, to keep him on the team. And he loved Boston, and his wife, his family, they loved being there. He genuinely wanted to stay in Boston, but his agent had other interests, wanted to just get the higher salary number from Chicago, because Chicago offered him a higher salary, but they did not offer the equity, which, something to say, right? Going back to Messi for a quick second here, it's just going to be a matter of, does he want to just keep getting rich off the salary, or does he want to just keep building that wealth through equity, right? Yeah. And, that could be an interesting opportunity being an owner in the franchise. So, as far as I know, haven't been any other examples, and especially in the modern era, MLS is still a pretty young league compared to all the other American sports leagues, and have that flexibility right now to have a player owner. And I think, even with a conflict of interest, right, I think the MLS players would love Messi to come to the MLS, because as much as Beckham drove some growth, I think Messi would provide a rocket ship of growth even bigger than Beckham. Can learn from Beckham's mistakes that he made in his time in MLS.
That's true.
And just take the sport and the game in America to a whole new level.
So just to connect them both a little more, I think one of the biggest shock factors when Beckham came to MLS was that salary drop, right? I think he went from making tens of millions to making 7 million or something like that, I think, with the Galaxy. But what people didn't realize was that there was a bunch of little kickers in there, like a percentage of jersey sales, percentage of ticket sales, and things like that, right? So if Messi does come, it's gonna come with a lot of those kickers in his contract, which is probably what they were offering Ronaldo to go to Sporting KC as well. Correct?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, if I had to speculate, there had to be a lot of kickers in there, because I don't know. It just seems funny to me, picturing Ronaldo living in Kansas City, Missouri for a few months out of the year, just eating barbecue, Kansas City's a great little town. I don't know if you guys have been, but it's not like what he's used to, right? And being in Europe and in Spain, and
the Mediterranean and the Ozarks are a little different.
Exactly. And honestly, I feel like he could get away in some parts of town, and just walk around out in the open. I really think some people might not even know who he is in that city specifically. And a small amount of people. You'd have to find the right pocket of Kansas City.
That might be reason enough. That might be alluring enough for him to go there and be like, hey, very few places I could do that. Definitely, he's not too far from a little quick drive where he could do that, just somewhere on the outskirts of, Kansas City to one of the neighboring towns, maybe heads up to Nebraska or something, just hangs out in Lincoln or something. Just nobody knows who he is there, just walking around at the mall. Yo, is that Ronaldo?
He can do the baseball cap sunglasses, no problem.
Yeah, you'll go complete Mike Trout anonymity or whatever. How you say the word? Anonymity.
Anonymity.
Man, I suck with that word, man. But you know what I mean. But
exactly.
Oh Lord. So what do you think is the biggest hurdle right now keeping Messi?
I think it's just the details. I think when you're the biggest star in the sport right now, in terms of just brand value and, you know, what he brings to the table, he has every right, or I should say he has every advantage just to sit back and wait this thing out.
Yeah.
So I think it's just who's going to really give that max package, you know, to get him to their team. That's why I was thinking about this, you know, just prepping for, you know, the podcast today. I was really thinking, I'm like, I wonder if they're willing to up that ownership stake a little bit too, you know, from 35% from what it was reported, you know, maybe to 40. I couldn't see him being, you know, a half owner, because that means Beckham's slice would get, you know, taken out of it. The Moss brothers as well, you know, they got to make money out of this too, and you know, just share the wealth a little bit.
But I'm sure they know. I'm sure they know that Messi. They probably won't be able to play any games at the DRV Stadium. What is it called? What's
Drive
it called?
Pink Stadium.
At the Drive Pink Stadium, they're gonna have to play them all at Hard Rock Stadium, and they'll all be at capacity every game.
Yeah, well, and think about this too. I think every game on the road will be at capacity. Like I could see.
Oh yeah.
You know, for example, I'll just give you guys a local example, right? Like the Chicago Fire moved back to Soldier Field to play their games, and unfortunately, you know, just sports just not big enough yet. The fan base isn't big enough yet to open all of Soldier Field, which is about 62,000 seats for a game. So they usually close the upper bowl and just keep the lower bowl open. I mean, if Messi comes to town, I really could see them opening that sucker up.
Yeah.
And like you said, host the games at all the NFL stadiums, make a big event out of it, you know, honor him being there. Like I could see the Chicago Fire putting together a hype video for Messi, even though he's on the other team. So I just the commercial impact that he can make. I mean, they can't forget that. And I think another advantage too, it seems that, you know, correct me if I'm wrong, but seems like him and Beckham have a pretty good relationship together too. And
well, they're both Team Adidas.
Both Team Adidas.
I feel like Adidas will have a lot of say also. They want that to happen because they know how many jerseys they're gonna sell.
Yeah, and they have the exclusive contract with the MLS, so there's only one jersey provider in the whole league. So yeah, it's good money.
Yeah. Xavier, your mic is muted.
Chavi, come on, bro.
Well, you didn't understand what I was saying. All the pieces of the puzzle are coming together.
Oh,
Adidas, everything's coming together.
I like it. I like it.
Yeah, man. So Messi, let's give our predictions. Will he come to Inter Miami or will he go to Al Hilal in Saudi Arabia? I'm gonna say Miami, and that's not because I'm biased.
I'll tell you what. I think and here's the thing, because I work in sports media too, and I know that there's a lot of people who speculate, and there's a lot of people who you know are speculating on a report that somebody else said. I feel like the only time throughout this whole process that anybody actually put their name on it and said, "Hey, this is happening. It's already been agreed upon," was that the Daily something out in UK, which was the
Daily Mail.
No, it wasn't the Daily Mail. It was something else. They're the ones who said during the World Cup that Beckham that it was a done deal already, that they had agreed upon, and this and that, and that, so they were the only ones that I've seen in this whole thing that have actually said that they were reporting like, "Hey, we're putting our credibility on the line." Everybody else is speculating. They're the only ones that reported it. And since then, obviously, you know, we're still waiting to hear what happens. And you've had the PSG come out and say, "Oh, we've agreed to a verbal commitment." But then again, that's been, you know, hasn't been finalized. There's all these other things. The only people that have reported it, and because of that, that's why I lean more towards that being the possibility, is that there's something there. Like you said earlier, if there's smoke, there's fire. I feel like there's a whole lot of smoke all over Fort Lauderdale where the stadium is right now. And there's something cooking there, man. Yeah, there's something cooking there. So if I'm, you know, a betting man here, my MLS Stradamus, you know, says that it's that he's coming to MLS here, and hopefully by the summer. I think that would be, you know, pretty interesting. I mean, also like Chavi, who's our Inter Miami reporter, he's always been reporting on he's always been reporting on all the moves that have been happening. I mean, we have the DP slot open for him. There's all these other everything, like he says, the puzzle pieces are in place.
The jigsaw puzzle. They've been talking about that forever. It's a jigsaw puzzle. Where only piece missing is the biggest piece, and it's Messi, and he's gonna be laid down on the table. Boom, dominoes, whatever you want to do. Boom, he's coming. It's here.
Remember, he does have a Hard Rock sponsorship.
That's true.
And
that's the other thing.
Yeah, he spends a lot of time at that guitar.
Oh yeah, he does go to the Guitar Hotel down here.
He does. And who's the sponsor of Hard Rock Stadium? Hard Rock.
Yeah. So, although I think there was a gripe though, and I remember a while back. I think it was about a year ago, because also, Eric, I don't know if you know this, we were supposed to get a stadium built down here a year ago. A year ago, it was about to start. They haven't done anything, and it's not even close. They haven't even like fenced off the area, like nothing. So it's gonna be years till that becomes, completed and we're actually, comes to fruition. So with that being said, I remember about a year ago when all this stuff, the first rumor started going around. I remember that I read somewhere that, I don't know if it was Stephen Ross, who's the owner of the Dolphins and the owner of Hard Rock Stadium. I think he had a beef with MLS or something, because he runs that International Champions Cup tournament that comes by during the off season. Yeah. And that there was a thing where he wasn't going to provide the field for for Inter Miami. Mm-hmm. So the stadium was always off limits. Like it's going to be going to be open for, special events, international friendlies, but not for, the local MLS team. Although I think if there's anybody who can change Stephen Ross's mind, it's going to be a guy of Messi's stature. So I think it's not completely closed on that, but
Russ, give me that bobo. Give me that bobo.
That's just a business flex.
Yeah.
No, for sure.
Money talks. The money in his face, he's going.
Exactly.
Yep. Well, we'll see what happens. We'll keep an eye on it, and we'll keep looking forward to it. But Eric, man, thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight, dude. Really appreciate it. Love to have you back on and pick your brain at some other.
Hey, now that we know that you're an F1 guy, we're gonna have you on for our F1 show. We also do a little F1 segment called F1. F1 or FU.
Yeah, bro. F1 or FU, bro. All right, that's our show. We do that. We're getting ready. Season's kicking off here in a pretty short soon. We're in the off season right now, but we're excited. I think the Netflix is Drive to Survive will probably drop in March. That's when it dropped last year.
Yeah,
I'll scoop that up and watch it in a couple of days and be totally excited about that. But yeah, we'll definitely have you back on for that. And anytime you want to come back on, man, we're more than happy. And
feel free to visit us when the Miami GP happens, man. Tell your guy Joe to hook you up.
Yeah, bro.
Come down for the Messi parade.
That's right.
Yes. No, they should have a parade if he ends up coming.
Oh no, there's gonna be a parade. There's gonna be a parade.
My prediction too, and I'm not saying it just because I'm here with my Miami guys here, but I really do think it does happen. That report, like you said, just being definitive. I think it does happen. Too many connections. And then not just the Hard Rock sponsorship, but he's got that sick penthouse that he has in Miami too. So he's gotta put that to use somehow. But I really appreciate you guys having me on. This was so much fun. I can't believe it's already been 40 minutes. And,
yeah.
I would love to come back and always happy to hop back on and chat. And you have a new fan of me now too. I just really love the show. So thank you.
Awesome, man. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
I'm gonna tweet it out. Eric's our source. Messi's a done deal.
You're not supposed to reveal your sources,
Xavier.
That's what's up, man. But again, Eric, thank you so much, man. We appreciate you, man, and we'll love to have you back. And we'll talk to you soon, man.
All right, thank you, boys. Really appreciate it.
All righty, man. Take care. Have a great night.
Bye.
All right, man. Big thank you to Eric there for hanging out with us, joining us, man. That was very insightful.
Next. They're coming next.
Oh yeah, Black Heron United crew is up now. We're gonna bring them on. I know we got Jermaine waiting here in the background. Just a sec, but before we get
He's warming up.
He's warming up. Get the I don't know if he's righty or lefty, but we're warming up one of the guys in the bullpen there.
He's ambidextrous.
He's ambidextrous. All right, that's cool. That works.
He kicks with both legs.
Okay. Yeah. Cool. So we're gonna talk a little more. I am Inter Miami. We're gonna talk a little bit with the Black Heron United. We're gonna talk a little bit of Martin Luther King Day and what happened and what didn't happen. But before we do that, again, just want to thank Eric for hanging out with us. Make sure you follow him at Eric Caribbean, and the Joe Pompliano show. Of course, Gus would be, listening to
a sports business podcast.
I'm gonna start listening to it too. Thank you.
Yeah, man. Good. All right, so I'll definitely check it out. But But I do want to finish the show here. I want to bring on Jermaine. Let's bring him on here. There he is. All right, man. What's up, Jermaine?
What's going on, y'all? What's going on? What's going on? How y'all doing?
Welcome.
Doing great, man. Doing great, man. Gonna talk a little Inter Miami, talk a little bit about what's going on. But again, if you don't know, this is Jermaine, Black Herons United. Tell us where we can find you guys. Tell us a little bit about what you guys do and what you guys are trying to do here, man. The floor is yours, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you all for reaching out, Xavier. Thank you for reaching out. First and foremost, you can find us. You can find Black Herons United on Twitter at Black Herons UTD. That's the same for our Instagram, Black Herons UTD. We also have a podcast called Dreaming of Freedom. It's kind of a play on the phrase freedom to dream, Inter Miami's freedom to dream. And so you can find us on Twitter at Freedom Dreams BH. And you can find us on Instagram at Freedom Dreams Pod. And yeah, guys, we started last year. We officially kind of launched our independent supporter group last year. To be clear, we are independent. We are not an official supporter group of Inter Miami. So we are not on the level of Vice City or the Siege or Southern Legion, etc. We kind of do our own thing, but we are supporters of the club first and foremost. Secondly, we are an all-inclusive supporter group, which means anyone can join our group. Anyone can join our group. Point blank, period. However, our group focuses on centering kind of South Florida's Black culture, South Florida's Black history, and South Florida's Black experiences through football. Right? Our mission, and we've been around for a year, and we're just trying to, help the club be more representative of the region.
Awesome. I got in touch with Jermaine because, like always, I'm looking online for Inter Miami stuff. And last year I saw a tweet from Black Herons, and this year I saw it again talking about MLK Day and how Inter Miami has not put out any type of social media saying, MLK, anything in regards to that, them and another MLS club. And I just remembered from last year, I saw it and I said, okay, maybe they missed it last time. It happened again. And that tweet, Jermaine, you can tell us, has gathered a lot of interest and people are talking about it. It's had interactions back and forth. And I think it's very important to like you said, there's a rich history, Black history in Miami particularly, and in football, the amount of people that love to play football. Can you tell us what exactly is what you guys want? Because I read the thing, the bottom of the tweet says, what does this show your Black supporters? Do you care? We need answers and change. Do better. Tell me about that.
Yeah, so we are not trying to burn the house down, right? We're not trying to burn the club down, right? All we're trying to do is point out the obvious. And the obvious is that South Florida and Miami has a very large Black and particularly Caribbean population. And that Caribbean population loves the game of football. Like Jamaicans love football. Haitians love football, right? And we're all here in Miami. Now, all we want is the club to be a little bit more representative of those communities. What we acknowledge time and time again is that we love that the club centers and acknowledges its Latin American fan base. Because when we think about US soccer, it's largely kind of, understood or stereotyped as this kind of white suburban sport, right? So when Inter Miami comes out and they're, tweeting in Spanish, right? And they're like marketing, to its Spanish supporters, we love that. We absolutely love that. But why not do the same thing in Haitian Creole, right? Or, just, show the fan base, the entirety of the fan base that the club is kind of reaching out to them. And so when we realized that Inter Miami and I think it was Real Salt Lake out of Utah were the only two US-based clubs that did not make any type of acknowledgement, not anything, not a story, not a post, nothing, like not even a simple generic happy MLK Day.
It's like easier to do it than to not do it. You know what I mean? It's like, come on, man.
Yeah. And it's, I want to be clear. It's not like we're begging them to do the bare minimum. Like, of course, we want them to do the bare minimum, right? But we also want them to be genuine, right? We want them to go out to the community, right, and help. Now let me also be very transparent. Inter Miami does have a good track record with one of the local soccer teams, Little Haiti FC. They've helped donate a number of different laptops and different equipment to the club for their team, right? So they have some type of presence in the community, but we want it to be more, right? We're trying to establish a Caribbean theme night, right? One of their official theme nights.
I'll be there.
I love Drive Pink, right? I mean, it's simple things, right? That it's not hard to think about, and we're not trying to force anything. It's kind of obvious, right? Like there's this huge soccer base that you haven't tapped into yet. An opportunity, absolutely.
A huge opportunity.
And to your point, Jermaine, anywhere you go in Miami, any government building, places like that, you'll see English, Spanish, Haitian Creole.
Absolutely.
Any message.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely. I mean, I think I've seen one post. Yeah, I think I've seen one post from actually the Miami Freedom Park project. I think they have like an Instagram page, and I think they made a post in Haitian Creole. I'm like, wow, that's a great effort, right? And so if we can just see more of that, or just little things like, and it's not just MLK Day, right? We've noticed that with Black History Month. We've noticed that with Juneteenth. And we're not trying to pick on Inter Miami, but when the rest of the
post
league
anything
is doing
for Pelé.
See, we didn't even think about that, right? But it's just little things, right? It's little things that you would think the club could do, right? I mean, they don't have a problem making posts about another, first of all, Martin Luther King Day is a federal holiday, right? If no one, recognizes this, right? And so they don't have a problem making a post for Veterans Day or Memorial Day, right? And so it's just simple things like that, just to show your fan base that, we are included and that they are also thinking about us. It'll be nice, but we're also not begging, right? Like, we're going to continue to do what we're going to do, and we've helped create a space for a lot of supporters, to feel comfortable. And we clash and with different views, but at the end of the day, we can all come together and just chop it up and have a good time.
Enjoy the love for football. Jermaine, have you guys had contact or reached out to the club? Anyone in particular at the club, social media and communications, anybody? Have you guys spoken, and what message have you received if you have?
Yeah, last year we had a meeting with some of the members from the club. And I won't get too specific.
No,
but
that's fine.
They did show us kind of the procedure, right? Kind of how to become an official supporter group, which was great. We appreciated that, and they kind of showed us, the ropes a little bit of like what to do and what not to do, and but because we are an independent supporter group, there's very little we can do officially with the club, right? Like, we can't bring in our flags into the North Stand, for example, or we have very little say, if any, about the chants, right, that are created for the club.
I've had a beef with the chants for a while, man. I've had a beef with the chants for a while. I'm Hispanic, I'm Latin American, everything, but like, man, they all sound the same. They're all originating from the same place. Like, just spread it out a little bit, man. Throw in an English chant every once in a while for the couple of non-Spanish speaking people we got here. You know what I mean? So that's all. But I know where that's coming from too, man.
Yeah, for sure. And it's it's a conversation that's being had and that's been had, with the club for a few years now. And we're hoping to see, some change. And again, it's not that we don't like the Spanish chants, right? We love the Spanish chants. That's what makes Inter Miami, right? But if you're in Miami, you have to have a Trick Daddy chant, right? You just have to have a Trick Daddy chant, right? It's just it's easy, right? It's very easy to do, right? And so
take it to the house, right? Take it to the house.
Take it to the house. There's a lot of different options, right? That's the big Caribbean base
right there.
Right, we can do an easy Bob Marley chant. We can do an easy Bob Marley chant. There's easy things that we can do. It's just a matter of kind of
what other team would have that? What other team would have a Bob Marley chant or a Trick Daddy chant or no? And that's what we're
and that's what we're trying to stress to the club, right, and to the rest of its supporters, that we have an opportunity to make this club and its fan base something very, very unique, even more unique than what it already is, right? It's unique by itself, right? And we always want to stress that, but we have an opportunity to make this very, very fun, right? To be an Inter Miami supporter. Right?
Jermaine, let me ask you, since obviously this has been going on since yesterday, but this has been going on actually for a year now, where this whole just lack of representation, we'll call it, or just caring from the team, it has caught some traction. You see the tweet online, you see a lot of people retweeting, you see a lot of people reaching out. Obviously, Xavier over here was very moved by it and everything. Have you been surprised at the support that you've gotten in the last 24 hours since you put that out there? Have you been reached by anybody that you weren't expecting, that was like, oh, hey, wow, okay, showing support too? Or
I mean, it's always good to get the support, right? And to see the amount of support, right? We obviously had way more support than we had, criticism, right? And the few critics obviously, quickly got kind of dismissed.
They're probably from Real Salt Lake,
or Orlando.
We all know
they don't like us for some reason. I'm not sure what's going on there, but no, it's always good to get that support. And I will say that there is a large, emerging Black soccer supporter culture in the U.S. Right? We can look at Chicago Fire; they have Black Fires. Atlanta United, they have Footy Mob. There's a couple of teams on the lower league. Say it again.
That's a great name, Footy Mob.
Yo, I like that one a lot. No, they're the OGs.
I like that.
There's a lot of great podcasts out there. If I can just shout out real quick, Shea Butter FC, 2 Cents FC, For the Culture. They're just Can I Kick It FC, Walking 90, right? These are all Black-led soccer podcasts kind of under this 2 Cents FC network. Dreaming of Freedom podcast, right? We're also part of that network as well. And so there's a strong community there, right? So we never really feel alone, even this morning, or, like I texted the group, like, yo, like, I'm very appreciative of being in this space because it's crazy in these soccer streets, right? Like it's very crazy in these soccer streets. So, we all kind of have similar experiences and we're all kind of building up together. So it's a good space to be in for sure.
What about your background, Jermaine? I mean, we've only had Inter Miami here for a couple of seasons, but you sound, like a passionate football fan for a long time here. There's one right answer here. What's your favorite team besides Inter Miami? Who were you rooting for before?
Oh man. So I will say that I was an original Miami Fusion supporter back in the day.
Oh, word up!
Back in the yeah. I mean,
look over my shoulder. Over my shoulder.
Oh, I see. Very nice.
Signed by Valderrama, man. I got him to meet
my cousin.
Oh yeah,
my cousin.
Primo over there. Yeah, man. I remember going to old Lockhart Stadium and catching games, man, back in the day, bro. I was a big fan.
Yeah. No, it's a beautiful part of kind of Miami soccer history to be a part of now. So I'm gonna say something. Everyone's gonna hate me, but it is what it is. But I'm gonna explain myself. Let me explain myself, and let me get to my answer.
All right.
Right. I like that. So growing up, I was always a fan of individual soccer players, right? So I love Thierry Henry. I love Didier Drogba. So I was never really attached to a team. My older brother was a huge Manchester United fan. So I always felt some type of way, just kind of like naturally wanting to compete, with him. So I always grew up loving players. Now, one player that came into the league around 2010, 2011 is a guy by the name of Yaya Toure. And he changed the way I watched the midfield position, really. And of course, he entered the league with Manchester City back at that time. And so I'm a Manchester City fan. I'm a very quiet Manchester City fan.
Wrong answer.
Edwin's a Chelsea guy. Wrong
answer, man, you had me going with Drogba, bro. I was like, all right, man, Fusion, Drogba. Me and Jermaine gonna hang out. We're gonna watch games together, and then he hits me with his Manchester City.
I hit you with the City. I apologize. But I do have a story. I'm not just one of these guys that just hops on the pep train. I do have a little, I do have a little history with the club.
But, I appreciate that. I appreciate that because I was the same way when I started following international soccer. I'm like, all right, who does my favorite player play for? Ronaldinho. Okay, he's at Barcelona. That's what I'm going to go with. And that's what I've been with.
Yeah. Easy. Mm-hmm. We all have our stories. Right? And that's part of the beautiful game, right? We all kind of have our different stories, but we end up here on a podcast, just chopping it up.
Yeah.
That's what's up, man. So you grew up being a fan, you had your team, you had your players, and now tell me, what does it feel like? And, what does it mean to you being an Inter Miami fan? Like having a local team, after growing up, rooting for Yaya, rooting for Manchester City, now rooting for a real team. How does it feel?
For your very own
team, man.
Neighborhood
team. That was smooth. I'm not gonna lie. That was very smooth. I'm like, no, man. Listen, I love it. I love this club. I love Inter Miami. The energy at the games are just electric. So I'm a season ticket holder since the second season, and so I'm at most of the home games. If I can, I have a family at home. I have a wife and kid at home. So. I have a life, right? Yeah. So,
what's up?
But when I have the opportunity, I'm there at Drive Pink as much as possible. And again, we're just Black Herons are just trying to create something a little fresh. And so, when I'm not doing that, I'm also in the classrooms. I'm a professor at Florida Atlantic University. A history professor, and so that's been cool. So just trying to juggle all of these different hats has been very rewarding.
Manchester City and now FAU, bro. I'm a Panther, man. I'm FIU, bro. We have nothing in common, man.
What's going on? We started out so strong.
It started so well, and look how it's going now.
Taking myself off
so well.
It's all good, man. I appreciate the educator, man. That's what's up, man. I was always my thing. I wanted to be a teacher, man. Just never got carried away in other careers, and it's always been my fallback. I'm always like, you know what? I can never be too old to become a teacher. I feel like, I'm like, I don't think there's an age limit to it.
It's a new time, man. It's a new time. I don't know.
I don't know, man. I feel like it's, in history, that's what's up, man. That's cool.
Yeah, in Florida, it's a little, maybe you don't want to be a teacher in Florida, but
yeah.
Oh no, yeah, I know. My mom was. I know the struggle. Damn, man.
Yeah.
Man. So, are you originally from South Florida? Born and raised?
Yeah, I was born and raised in West Palm Beach. My family's of Jamaican descent, so that's kind of where this whole soccer connection really started. And I just kind of grew up loving the game. And my older brother was really kind of the more serious one. I have two other brothers. My older one kind of really led the way, the captain of the team and all of that stuff. And so,
nice.
So it was, he was kind of like the example in terms of who to follow in the family. Soccer was just always the first sport. And so I kind of got into it when I was in grad school. I kind of like focused it on like my research. And so I study soccer history and Black soccer history. And so all of this is kind of in my wheelhouse. And so
that's what's up, man.
It's fun, man. It's really fun. Awesome. I really love what I do.
So you're one of these northern Inter Miami fans. Sorry, Gus, I didn't mean to cut you off. So you're what, like Palm Beach area? West still? Or you in Broward?
So I live in Miami Gardens.
Oh, okay. All right. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. Because I was wondering. I'm like
too much information. But
it's all good, bro. I'm way down south. So okay, Gus, I think you had a question. I was just
so next World Cup, expanded field. Reggae boys got a chance or what?
Man, listen.
Yo, Cuba's got a chance too. What's up?
Yo, a lot of teams have a chance, right? A lot of teams definitely have a chance. It's definitely gonna make for an exciting World Cup. I think Jamaica has a strong chance. We have to get our federation in order. There's just a lot of things in the federation that's just, as with our, a lot of federations. But if we can figure some things out structurally, I will say that the women's team are awesome. So they're going to enter their second World Cup this year, 2023.
They're in this upcoming. They're in the upcoming Women's World Cup.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So the Jamaican women's team are doing their thing for sure, representing the Caribbean all day. So it's an exciting time, for Jamaican footy fans.
Jermaine, when are we going to get some nice Caribbean food out there in Drive Pink Stadium in the parking lot? Do I head where I hear the reggae? How do I find you guys?
Right. So we're actually planning to be a little bit more organized on the tailgating front this season. So we basically want to turn our tailgating experiences into kind of like Caribbean tailgates. So where we're playing music throughout the diaspora. We're kind of serving up, little small, Caribbean dishes like Jamaican patties or whatnot. And just kind of creating a nice vibe. And then you'll see our flag waving. If you go to our Twitter, you'll see what our flag looks like. But you'll see the flag waving, and you'll see a whole bunch of people just kind of chopping it up. Probably have red cups in our hand, drinking some Auntie Mary's rum punch, which is the official drink.
I keep hearing about that. I'm gonna have to go out there and try it. I love to walk around before the game and see the vibe and feel the vibe. So I might have to just end up there and try some of that stuff.
Absolutely, it's dangerous, so be careful. But it'll get you right before the game.
I'm a dangerous man.
Yeah, hey, you could be dangerous, but you're also representing us in the press box, bro. So be careful. I don't want you turning into Chavi something else. You know what I mean?
I might stay in the parking lot for that game.
Okay, all right, fair enough.
Hey. love it.
Jermaine, we can't finish this up without asking you, bro. What's up, Messi, Miami? Bound to happen, bro. I don't know if you were listening into who we were just talking to beforehand, but
Yeah. I mean,
what do you feel?
Listen, I'm someone that isn't going. Well, in this particular scenario, I'm not going to believe anything until I see Messi signing that contract. There have been too many stories. I thought this last round of stories was the one. I really thought like, oh, it's a done deal. Like this is it. And then a couple, news came out a couple of days later. It's like, okay, well, we're back at square one. So I'm not getting my hopes up. I'm fine with the move that we are making, right? I'm not necessarily one to listen. I'm a City supporter, so I have enough of the big splashes, the unnecessary big splashes at times. So I think if we just build from the ground up, right, we invest in kind of the local players. We have a lot of good local players coming through the system, coming through the academy. We just signed Joseph Martinez. Leo Campana, Leo Campapi. Is brilliant for us, and so it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good.
I like Leo Compapi. I like that.
Yeah.
Nice. Who's your favorite player on the team?
Black Herons special. Ooh, favorite player on the team, I would have to say Damian Lowe because of the Jamaican roots.
That was an easy one. Yeah.
I knew he was going there.
I should have made an excluding Damian Lowe. Okay, fair enough. All right.
Excluding, I mean, wow.
Non-Jamaican.
I would say. Yeah. I would say, I really love this. Well, I mean, I love Campana. I really love Campana. I just love the fact that he's just a true number 9. He just goes out, does what he has to do. But I also love this little player, this little midfielder named Bryce Duke, and he's just very crafty.
Language.
That's my guy.
Yeah, I just like him. I want to see him get more time.
There's something about him, right? There's something about him.
He's special.
He flashes. He flashes, and then bam, they bring in Pozuelo, and
All right. Enough love.
They need to figure out how to play both of them together. Yeah.
Enough love here. Well, who's your least favorite player on the team? Come on, let's spill the beans here.
No. You don't want to do that.
Wow.
It doesn't mean you hate the guy. He's just the guy that you love the least.
If he's smart, he can just say somebody that left. Oh, for real?
I got a couple, yeah, bro.
Wow.
Never been a fan.
Go first, Edwin. Go.
Oh man, I can't. Lassiter drove me nuts every time. Every game. He had like 2 moments all season where I was like,
a good season.
All right,
Lassiter
had a good
season. Bro, that guy's Willie Mays Hayes just running out there just as faster than anybody, but this touch is horrible. The ball goes everywhere. He has no control. Like it's impossible. He had like 2 decent plays all season long.
Deja vu all over again. I hear you from last season. Deja vu all over again.
Yeah, that guy drove me nuts, man. I feel like there's somebody else here who's...
He had a good season.
Bro.
He scored some nice goals.
Yeah, I'm not mad at Ari. Nah, it's gonna take him time to really kind of open up. But I feel like when he did have the ball, he was kind of excited. I don't know, whatever. I don't know. I mean, I like Ari. His dad used to play for the Fusion.
Look, my boy knows what's up.
Not lying.
He's not lying. He knows, man. That's what's up, bro. Like, tell you, come on, man. You guys we've all been there. We've all been watching the game. You see him running up the sideline, down the sideline, and you're like, all right, dude, just cross the ball. And he's just running so fast. The ball goes everywhere. He has no control. He trips over the ball. Like, everything happened to that guy except a good pass or a good fit. I can't remember a good finish from him all season long. Like, nothing.
Oh, come on.
Man. Bro.
But if he did everything you're saying, he'd be in Manchester City with Jermaine's team.
All right. Let's keep City out of this. We're focusing on Inter Miami.
I mean, they're not that
bad.
Okay.
So I will say,
here it is.
My least favorite player, and it's only because
wait. Let me build it up for you.
Not been able to stay healthy enough. Robbie Robinson.
Oh, solid.
Only because
like
he hasn't been able to stay healthy enough. He was our first draft pick. I do think we should have took Daryl DK instead of Robbie Robinson. We took Robbie Robinson,
I love me some
and it
Daryl
just
DK.
hasn't worked out. And so I would say it's not that I don't like him.
Yeah.
It's just
disappointed.
Yeah, I think
that's fine.
Yeah,
That's
someone
normal.
else could take that spot.
Yeah, I feel you. I feel that's a solid one, especially because potential that we haven't seen.
This is his year. Yeah. This is his year. The coach is. This is a make or break year. If nothing happens, he's gone.
I hope so. I hope so. I mean, when he plays, he looks good, but he just doesn't play enough. He just doesn't play enough. And, yeah. So
here we go. Glass legs Robinson. Total bust.
Steve man, Steve's been hitting it.
He's been hitting it, bro. These are
shout out to the Black Herons members in the chat.
Yeah, man. Steve says, thank you, fellas, for inviting Jermaine tonight, and Xavier for reaching out. These stories are important to talk about. Absolutely, man.
We got to talk more about these stories. And one thing that I've always told Edwin is I want to get into the community and do some stories about the local heroes. I mean, I remember the Haitian League from when I was in high school. I had a friend that used to go play.
That was a long time ago, Jermaine, by the way. Let me tell you.
Yeah, it is a long time.
His high school was like sometime in the 80s.
No, early 90s.
Early 90s. Okay.
Early 90s. I graduated in 92.
Wait, so you were in high school in the 80s then?
Yeah.
I was. Well,
no.
I got to high school in 1990.
Okay. You did not graduate in 2 years, bro. Come on.
No, yeah, get out of here.
Well, because back then, middle school went up to 8th grade.
To ninth grade.
It went to 9th grade, I mean. Back, I was in Palm Springs Middle School. Now, it wasn't called Palm Springs. Yeah, it was Palm Springs Middle School. 9th grade, and then I went to Miami Lakes.
All right, well, enough dating yourself, but go ahead.
No, but there's a lot of stories in the streets. Like he said, these streets are crazy. There's so many leagues and so many things and so many really good players and stories there. So I want to, keep in touch and get some of those out because we have some local heroes too. We have local Yaya Touré's in the fields and stuff. They just never were able to make it. Mm-hmm. Look, we have a local hero right here, Edwin Garcia. He used to be better than Courtois.
Wow, I was the number one goalie in the adult recreational intramural Sunday league over at Kendall Soccer Park for like 4 seasons.
We played on Saturdays.
I believe it.
Played on Saturdays?
Oh man,
it's been a while, bro. It's been a while, man.
Concussion.
So I'm no longer playing. Yeah, I took a couple of bad hits, bro. Let me tell you.
You did.
But it's all
definitely
good.
Believe it.
Wait, hold on. There's some comments over here. Hold on. Nico says, yeah, but Robbie Robinson also RKO'd someone, so he's my GOAT. Okay. What? If hold on, is this true?
When was this?
Robbie did
RKO
someone, so he gets okay, wait a minute. I did not know about this.
God.
If he RKO'd somebody, I'm all down.
Oh my God. It was a hilarious game. It was just like Robbie Robinson definitely has a certain.
Oh, you're talking about when he wrestled with the
yes.
Well, RKO, bro.
He does rep Chile, so.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
that's such a weird,
Yeah,
there's
Robbie Robinson from Chile.
Behind Robbie for sure.
All right, I'm gonna have to look up that RKO video, man. Hit us up on the if you got the video of that RKO, man. Hit us up at LemonCityLive on Twitter. I want to see that, man. That'd be dope, dude.
Yeah, Nico, drop
love
that
me a good little
quick.
WWE connection to the team.
He body slammed an opposing player.
Damn. All right. Shoot.
Nah, Robbie's legit.
I remember that game. And then he got Phil sat him down a little bit. I don't remember exactly which game, but I do remember when it happened. I think it was one of those Open Cup games.
Oh, maybe it could. Yeah, for some reason I'm thinking it's New York. I don't know why I'm thinking New York, but
could be.
Open Cup, man. Miami FC, baby. We're big Miami FC fans here, Jermaine. Me and Gus. We were at the very first Miami FC game. We covered them throughout their first 4 years. We didn't miss a game for the first 4 seasons.
Yeah.
Something like that.
We covered all their games.
Big fans. Great people over there. Yeah, man. They were, we've been doing Miami soccer since before Miami even had a team down here, man, to be honest. So we know what's up, man. But Jermaine, thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight, man. We really appreciate it, man. Stick around. We'll wrap up here, man, but we can chit chat afterwards. But here he goes against Georgia. Tormento or something. Okay.
I just in the back of my mind, I keep thinking it was an Open Cup.
Man, send the video. I want to see it. But hey, I want to thank Jermaine. Remember, go follow them. Black Herons United (UTD) on Twitter. Check them out, man. At the same time, our other guests, Eric and Joe Pompliano, we put their information. We'll tweet out some of their stuff as well. Big wait. What is this? Steve, stop talking. There will be no slander of my team here.
I like mattress stores.
Oh man, dude, mattress stores are bad, bro. Oh my god, that is definitely money. That's very Miami.
That's just a front for the Men in Black. They have the aliens in the store and stuff.
Yeah, bro, something like that. But again, hey, Jermaine, if there's anything else you want to plug, before we sign off here, man, anything else you want people to know about? Again, thank you so much for hanging out with us.
Well, appreciate it, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah. And any way that we can help, spread the word too, man.
Word, no, thank y'all for having me. Just last thing is, continue to support, Black SGs, continue to support representation in soccer. Go ahead and follow 2 Cents FC and their whole entire network. They're just doing a great job, really pushing the culture forward. So
cool, man. Yeah, send a tweet. We'll be sure to retweet that as well. But again, thanks everybody for hanging out, for watching. If you're watching on YouTube, be sure to hit that like, subscribe button. If you're watching on Facebook, same thing. You can find us on all social media at LemonCityLive. Big thank you to all our guests today. Big thank you to Jermaine. Big thank you to Chavi, Gus, everybody for hanging out with us tonight. We'll be back tomorrow night with our regularly scheduled Lemon City Live football and everything else program that we'll do. We'll talk to you tomorrow. So until then, have a great night, everybody. Thank you so much. Talk to you soon.